That's it. It's over. Pack it up, boys. Path of Exile 2, bad. Diablo 4, obviously amazing. PC Gamer just decided it. Path of Exile 2 is great, but it doesn't match the dopamine hit of a good Diablo 4 loot drop. That's right, boys. It's proof. Are you a games journalist? You're not. Thought so. So what do you know about gaming? Get in your line, sucker, and trust the game's journalists who are not dying out because of shitty takes and opinions. That's right. There's a reason no one likes PC Gamer, okay? There's a reason it's going under, and this is one great reason why. And this is by Taylor Culp, probably a person who is lashing out on YouTubers in his spare time, but that's just speculation. But that's pretty much every journal nowadays. So let's get into it because this one is hilarious. I'm around 20 hours into Path of Exile 2, and all my gear sucks. Well, ain't that sad? Yes, I understand. In Diablo 4, you log in, you're level 2, and you're already full mythic legendaries. I understand. It's so better. It's so much better. It's so much more in depth. This whole article, as we're gonna read through it, is literally written by someone who should honestly be a gambling addict because that probably suits him better in life than being a journalist or writer in general. Someone should just take away his keyboard, okay? And save us all the trouble. Because it is hilarious, honestly, these journals. I'm wearing clothes even a zombie would refuse to wear. With bonuses I'm not even sure I can tell are doing anything. And this is a very, very self-incriminating statement. The fact that this person is playing Path of Exile, he's 20 hours in, and he still can't figure out that when it says plus physical damage, it does not apply to his fireball ability. I know, you do need to have a very high IQ to understand Path of Exile 2, Rick and Morty, Path of Exile 1, but that is just real life here. And honestly, there is a small point to this. Path of Exile is not something for the brain damaged. That is Diablo 4. Is someone with brain damage can easily play Diablo 4, and I honestly completely understand where this guy is going from. Because in Diablo 4, you get an item, you don't even have to read what it actually does. As long as arrow go up, you click, and congratulations. You have no idea what you just got or why it's better, but arrow go up, which means it's better. And if you are a retard, then that's probably a huge dopamine rush for you, even though you don't honestly know what you're doing. I would honestly call you cattle, not a human, but you know, for each their own. There are so many different stats in this game, and most of them don't seem to be that important when you're still below level 30. How are stats unimportant when you're below level 30? I honestly don't even understand this point. Because stats impact your game even at level 1. So what the hell is he talking about? I have no idea. I'm not exactly suffering when it comes to clearing dungeons, and PoE2 might be the best action RPG I ever played. This is like, oh, I don't like PoE, but I'm gonna say something good about it. And, well, he did. But the loot situation is kind of a drag this far. Honestly, one of my favorite things about PoE 1 was the loot system. I got in the ring and I compared it. Do I want this resistance on it? Do I want life? Do I want this? Is this stat better? Is attack speed actually better? It was fun comparing it. But someone who has brain damage, yeah, I get it. PoE is not gonna be for you because PoE requires, PoE 2 especially, requires you to actually pay attention and learn a thing or two about what's happening, okay? And there are some people who legitimately don't want to do it, and for them, Diablo 4 is a better choice because it doesn't require you to learn anything, and it rewards you for doing pretty much, well, anything, honestly. And that is a pretty good dopamine spike if, well, you are one of the lower caste of people. Hey, I'm just saying what's true, okay? Listen, if a green arrow up without looking at the item feels rewarding to you, maybe there's a reason why you are not even trusted to work at the cash register in McDonald's. I'm just being brutally honest here to you, okay? Maybe there's a reason. And maybe when you actually start looking at the stats, not just the green arrow, you will be able to work at the cash register. I don't know, just my opinion, but there we go. Diablo's 4 loot is way more satisfying to pick up even before you hit max level. Actually, this is a lie, considering anything before max level is literally worthless fucking shit. And everything after 5 minutes after hitting max level, unless it's a, what's it called, ancient quality? I already have forgotten what it's called. Ancient legendaries. Anything below an ancient legendary is just literally nothing. So in reality, in Diablo 4, you have a huge problem if you're actually playing it, and that is the fact that nothing below an ancient legendary is even remotely worth considering picking up. And after like an hour or two of being max level, anything below ancient legendary with a high roll affix is not worth picking up. You know, the star thing, what's it called? I forgot. Diablo 4 is just so bland. Nothing of that is worth picking up. So, in reality, if you're playing Diablo 4 and you're not an idiot, you only get a real loot drop roughly once every 10 hours play that's actually worth your time. Which is, by the way, kind of stupid. But again, this person who wrote this article can't even play Diablo 4 at above below average level. So obviously he doesn't understand any of these problems that Diablo 4 has. But Path of Exile, every loot drop can potentially be amazing because of the variety of stats that it has, and it can be sold in things like that. When Blizzard cut most of the miscellaneous stats out of the game, the value of items shot up. Yeah, and it was simplified to a degree where a 5-year-old can now tell you if an item is good or bad. And by the way, all the items are the same. Instead of trying to figure out if damage to injured targets matters, you can glean how powerful an item is within seconds. That's not necessarily a good thing, by the way. And by the way, people do that in PoE 1, people do that in PoE 2. It's just how accustomed to the game you are. Yeah? You can go watch a PoE 1 streamer who has 1 billion hours in the game, and they're literally gonna glean out a 20 affix item and in split second tell you if it's worth something or is it absolute bunk trash. Almost everything has maximum life and some kind of damage increase on it. That's just sad, but that's true. That's Diablo 4 for you. And even though they're most rare. They're more rare than they were just before the release of the expansion. Legendary items still give you a jolt of dopamine when they drop. No, they don't. Also, legendary items are the pretty much only of 2 items that actually matter. Well, 3 items, I guess, that matter when they drop. 1 is legendaries, 2 is uniques, and 3 is Tyrael's Might. Actually, Shaco, I guess, would be more apt, but you get the point. Other than those 3 variety of items, nothing else matters. White items are useless, blue items are completely useless, green items are completely useless. So, it tells a lot that you think that this is a great thing to be had for the game. Basically, every item has some kind of value, a value to you in Diablo 4. A complete blatant lie. Even several hours into a season, he got this right. Because he probably has only played several hours into the season. This opinion is made by someone who hasn't even played Diablo for more than 3 hours per season, most likely. And this opinion is definitely made by someone who doesn't understand what they're doing in PoE and probably already was following a guide when playing PoE too. Sad. Very, very sad. But that's just modern gaming journalism for you. PoEs to approach to flood you with bunk options until you finally find something good. The problem is that I've only found a few things that have nearly slotted into my build. That's most likely a lie. In PoE, yeah, you actually do run into these situations, and I think it's prevalent for boots, belts, and rings the most, honestly. When it comes to playing PoE 1. That while playing the campaign, because I never buy any leveling gear, I never, well, if I find it in the world, I'm gonna use it, but I don't buy any leveling gear to level a character ever. And those are things that I find sometimes, can stay for 10, 20 levels with you. Like a pair of boots that has a lot of resistances, movement speed, and, like 3 energy shield because reasons. And then you keep that for like 20 or sometimes even 30 levels. And some rings can stay with you for, 20 levels plus because they're just good. But every time you actually get an upgrade in PoE, it feels impactful because every upgrade matters. Every upgrade feels good because it matters. In Diablo, no upgrade feels good because it doesn't fucking matter. You look at your character sheet and it just has a blob called damage, and you have honestly no idea how it's calculated, and it has a blob called defense, and you also have no idea how the fuck it's calculated. But as long as that'll go up, you're happy, I theoretically guess. Most of the stuff I find is garbage or for an entirely different class. Oh no, look at that, playing another class. How horrible. One of the first unique items I found was a bow, which went straight to my stash because I refused to play anything but a spellcaster. Okay, that's not necessarily bad. You literally got an item that you chose to save. Does that really not actually, like, somehow at least entice you a little bit? The fact that you got an item that's not for your class and you chose to save it. I don't remember when when if I have even ever made the choice of actually saving an item for a different class that I have gotten in Diablo. I don't think that has ever happened. Oh boy. Also, let's actually read this. The problem is that I've only found a few. Oh, why? Why would you? Why? We already read this somewhere. In any case, I did, however, find a few low-level rings that ignites packs of enemies when I toss a fireball their way, and I don't see myself replacing it for a long time. True, exactly how in PoE 1, by the way. And again, I think the most prevalent is rings, belts, and boots. Okay? And after that is probably helmets and amulets. Those are the items that you replace the fewest. And in the late game, it's weapons. Weapon upgrades are harder to manage. Okay? If you're solo self-found or whatever. But, you understand that. If you understand that, you see no problem with it. Exactly like me, obviously. Also, the amount of ads on this shit is insane, by the way. Oh my god. Okay. But that's the best item I found so far. Also, by the way, how do you even know that you find a good item, considering you yourself explained that you don't actually even understand what stats do or what stats are good? PoE does have a learning curve. PoE 1 has a learning curve. PoE 2 will have a learning curve. PoE 2 will be actually a lot harder leveling wise and whatnot, and boss wise and things of that nature. Until my guess is people learn that blocking is completely overpowered. Yeah, blocking's probably going to be completely OP. And also, I think blocking is going to be one of the first things that goes the way of the dodo and power creep inevitably happens. Now, how fast will power creep happen? Don't know. But blocking is the first thing that's going to go. You can clip me and quote me on that. Everything else I couldn't use. I now realize how smart it was of Blizzard to log Diablo's for loot to what your class can actually use. Well, the fact that I think this person also talks about there being no classes, or was that a different article? Considering there are no classes, they kind of have to give you all the loot. And again, that's not necessarily a bad thing. There are going to be filters probably at some point also, which are definitely a sad thing that PoE honestly needs filters. That is a minus, but it's not like this guy's going to talk about it. The wrong class. Here he has a very cute screenshot of the ring. 22 increase fire damage, regions 3.8 life, 26 increase mana regeneration, ignites you, inflict the spread to other enemies that stay within 1.5 meters for 2 seconds. Pretty cool item. Also, this item has actually, again, this is an early game level 8 ring. It's a unique. And this item technically has already more depth than the average legendary in Diablo 4. Let that just sink in for a moment, okay, here? PoE 2 is admittedly a very different game than Diablo 4. Yeah, people actually like it. There is a huge difference in that. When it comes to building your character, every class isn't really a class. Oh yeah, it was here. At all. You can be a witch with a crossbow or a monk with a shield. The passive skill tree lets you trace a line of points where you want to. So it makes sense that any item in the game can drop for you, but whoever it's tuned before the scenes isn't quite cutting it. And leaves you playing for a long stretch without finding anything remotely useful. Even if this is, by the way, true, there's a lot of things that are in between that are rewarding, like passive skill rewards, gem level ups, and things of that nature. There's a lot to hit your dopamine if you're a PoE player and you understand this. But if you're a Diablo 4 player, well, then you write this fucking article. That's just reality. Well, anyway, again, boys, pack your bags. PoE 2. Shit, I'm sorry. It is what it is.